The building ahead resembled a modern palace. Glass walls stretching skyward, polished marble steps leading to a grand entrance framed by slender columns. The world outside seemed to dissolve as the car came to a stop. The distant hum of the city swallowed by the manicured silence of the estate. She adjusted the strap of her leather bag on her shoulder, smoothing the crease in her tailored beige trenchcoat. Her fingers trembled just slightly, a telltale sign she fought to suppress. Today was the beginning of something dangerous, and every instinct screamed caution. Claire took a deep breath, the scent of freshly cut grass mingling with the faint aroma of jasmine that floated on the warm breeze. At the door, Marcus awaited, the concierge's tailored black suit impeccable, his smile practiced but genuine enough to disarm. "Ms. Bennett, welcome to Verdant Haven. We've been expecting you." His voice was smooth, like silk sliding over stone. Claire nodded, stepping inside. The lobby was a study in opulence, polished dark wood panels, a crystal chandelier dripping like frozen water from the ceiling, and plush velvet chairs arranged around low tables. The air was thick with the scent of sandalwood candles and the faint murmur of restrained conversations. It was a cage dressed in velvet, she thought, beautiful yet confining. Claire's gaze swept the room, noting the clientele. A man in his 50s with a silver beard chatted quietly with a younger woman whose manicured nails betrayed nervous energy. Across the room, a group of women laughed softly, their designer clothes and flawless makeup at odds with the vulnerability that addiction supposedly brought. Here, addiction was another currency, a subtle badge worn beneath silk. "Let me show you to your room," Marcus said, gesturing down a hallway lined with abstract paintings that seemed to watch her as she passed. Her room was spacious, furnished in muted tones, with a balcony overlooking the grounds. She set down her bag and stared out at the perfectly trimmed hedges and the distant glint of a swimming pool. This place was a fortress, and she was an intruder. Later, Claire met Dr. Evelyn Hart in her sunlit office, where sunlight poured through sheer curtains, casting long shadows across the polished oak desk. Dr. Hart's eyes were sharp, scanning Claire with the precision of a surgeon. "Tell me about your addiction, Claire. What brought you here?" she asked, voice calm yet probing. Claire's practiced smile was steady. "It's been a struggle with prescription painkillers. I've been hiding it for years." She watched for any flicker of disbelief. Dr. Hart nodded thoughtfully. "Verdant Haven is a place for healing, but it's also a place where the truth is hard to face." Their eyes locked, and Claire felt the first real chill since arriving. This woman saw more than she said. In the corridors, Claire caught sight of a woman with piercing green eyes and silk-wrapped hair watching her from the shadows. The woman's gaze was unreadable, but the intensity sent a shiver down Claire's spine. Was it a warning, a challenge, or merely curiosity? As evening fell, the Reham's facade of calm began to crack. Whispers floated through hallways, doors closed a little too quickly, and the controlled chaos beneath the silk smoothness became palpable. Claire understood. Here, trust was a currency far more precious than any designer handbag, and just as fleeting. Her mission was clear: find her sister. But in this labyrinth of secrets and power plays, every step forward risked exposing her own carefully constructed lie. And in a place where everyone hid something, the question was, who would be the first to unmask her? The night stretched long and silent, the shadows growing deeper. Somewhere within these walls, her sister's story waited to be uncovered, and Claire was ready to play the game, no matter the cost. She turned off the bedside lamp and stared into the dark, her mind racing with possibilities and dangers alike. Tomorrow, the real work would begin. The sunlight poured through the floor-to-ceiling windows, casting long, delicate shadows across the polished marble floor, making the space feel less clinical and more like a gilded cage. Every detail, the plush velvet chairs, the glint of crystal decanters filled with herbal tinctures, the faint scent of jasmine and sandalwood, was designed to lull the senses and veil the undercurrents of tension simmering beneath the surface. She adjusted the collar of her cashmere sweater and took a measured breath. Here, among the ultra-wealthy who had traded their empires and excesses for anonymity and recovery, Claire was an intruder with a purpose, a carefully crafted lie wrapped in quiet desperation, her fabricated addiction a cocktail of controlled vulnerability, and just enough truth was the key to entering this world. But as she looked closer, she saw that the luxury was no more than silken wallpaper hiding a complex web of power plays. Across the room, Claire's gaze settled on a man lounging with casual authority on a leather armchair. Luca Marconi. He was everything this place represented. Charisma veiled with menace, wealth wielded like a weapon, and a smile that promised both sanctuary and danger. His dark eyes flicked toward a woman approaching Nina Caldwell, a striking figure with fiery red hair and a confidence that bordered on aggression. Their exchange was a dance of polite words and cold calculations, smiles stretched thin over unspoken challenges. Claire's mind catalogued every nuance: the blink too long, the subtle lean away, the quickened pulse beneath controlled expressions. This was a battlefield disguised as a sanctuary. She drifted toward a quieter corner where a group therapy session was winding down. Dr. Evelyn Hart, the center's head psychiatrist, was her usual picture of clinical composure: immaculate white coat, sharp bob framing a face that rarely betrayed emotion. As patients filed out, Dr. Hart's eyes met Claire's briefly, a flicker of something unreadable passing between them. Later, alone in her room, Claire rehearsed her fabricated story, weaving details to withstand scrutiny. She remembered Mara, the senior nurse who moved silently through the corridors, like a ghost with watchful eyes. Mara's quiet presence was a reminder that every step here was observed, every word weighed. The evening brought Claire into the dimly lit hallway where hushed voices drifted from a doorway left ajar. Two patients exchanged whispered words, mentions of alliances and shifts in Power B4, dissolving into silence as Claire's shadow passed. Her heart quickened. This place thrived on secrets, and every secret was a thread in the tapestry she needed to unravel. Claire's nights were restless, filled with fragmented conversations and stolen glances. She learned to smile on cue, to laugh softly at the right moments, and to mask the questions burning behind her eyes. Each interaction was a calculated risk. One misstep could expose the fragile truth beneath her fabricated addiction. She began to map the social terrain. Luca's influence stretched like roots beneath the surface. Nina's sharp tongue and sharper mind carved her own domain, and Dr. Hart's clinical authority maintained the illusion of order. But Claire sensed fractious cracks in the polished facade where desperation and ambition collided. One afternoon, during a group activity designed to encourage trust, Claire observed a subtle power play. Nina, speaking with feigned openness, subtly undermined another patient's confidence, drawing a small but telling smirk from Luca. It was clear that alliances were fluid, loyalty non-existent. This was a game where silence spoke louder than words. Claire's own role was delicate. She could not afford to be too inquisitive, nor too distant. She engaged just enough to avoid suspicion, offering fragments of her story that invited empathy but withheld too much. Her careful cultivation of persona was a shield and a weapon. As days passed, the rehab center's veneer seemed thinner. the controlled chaos beneath more palpable. Claire understood that power here was currency, traded in whispered conversations, stolen secrets, and silent threats. And somewhere within this tapestry, her sister's shadow lingered hidden in the silken folds of deception. That night, as Claire lay awake, listening to the quiet hum of the facility, a single question pulsed through her mind. Who, in this web of silken facades, could she trust to help her unravel the truth? The answer felt as elusive as the sister she sought. The game had begun, and Claire was already learning the price of a misstep. The scent of jasmine and expensive cologne wove through the air, a perfumed mask that barely concealed the undercurrents of tension beneath the surface. Every footfall echoed like a secret waiting to be uncovered. She moved with purpose, her heels clicking softly as she navigated the gilded halls lined with silk drapes and priceless modern art. The other residents, dressed in fabrics that whispered wealth and status, drifted in and out of conversations, fragmented and guarded. Claire's eyes flicked from one group to another, catching snippets of words, a name here, a hushed accusation there. In the lounge, under the warm glow of amber lamps, she settled into an armchair, her posture relaxed but her senses alert. The clinking of fine china and soft murmurs filled the room, broken occasionally by a forced laugh that didn't quite reach the eyes. Claire's ears tuned into the fragments around her, piecing together the puzzle in whispered pieces. I heard she vanished after that last treatment session. No one talks about it openly, but the staff are tight-lipped. A woman's voice, low and almost conspiratorial, caught Claire's attention. Vanished. You mean like disappeared? Another voice, edged with disbelief. Claire's heart quickened. The topic was her sister, whispered in shadows, wrapped in silk but stained with dread. Maintaining her facade was a constant battle. In therapy sessions, she played the part of the fragile addict, nodding along to Dr. Linton's probing questions while her mind mapped every detail she could gather. The sterile room smelled faintly of antiseptic and lavender, the air heavy with forced vulnerability. When it was her turn to speak, her voice trembled just enough to seem genuine, but her eyes remained sharp, observing every reaction. Outside the group, the social dynamics were a labyrinth of alliances and veiled threats. Jace, the magnetic yet dangerous patient, often held court in the lounges, his circle tight and guarded. Claire sensed his gaze on her more than once, assessing, calculating. One evening, as the sun dipped behind the manicured gardens, Claire found herself in a dimly lit corridor, the ornate wallpaper muted in the fading light. Mara approached silently, her presence sudden and unsettling. "You're looking for something," Mara murmured, her breath a whisper against Claire's ear. Claire's heart thumped, but she masked it with a measured nod. "Maybe. What do you know about my sister?" Mara's eyes glinted with something unreadable. "More than you think. But here, knowledge comes with a price." The warning hung between them like a blade. Claire swallowed, knowing every secret uncovered deepened the shadows she was stepping into. Later, at a lavish evening gathering, the air thick with the scent of expensive perfume and the murmur of silk gowns brushing marble floors, Claire moved carefully. Laughter sparkled like shattered glass around her, masking the sharp edges of manipulation beneath. Eyes tracked her, some curious, others calculating. Every smile was a mask, every word a game. Amid the controlled chaos, Claire's resolve hardened. The whispers about her sister were pieces of a darker puzzle, one she was determined to solve, no matter the cost. But with every secret uncovered, the danger grew. and the line between ally and enemy blurred beneath the silken veil of the Rahab's facade. Tonight, however, the illusion shattered with a harshness she had not anticipated. It started subtly, a faint flicker of the ornate chandeliers in the grand lobby, the ambient music warping into silence. Then, with a soft thud that echoed through the marble halls, the entire facility was plunged into darkness. Emergency lights buzzed to life, casting a sickly red glow over the stunned faces of patients and staff alike. Murmurs rose into anxious whispers, like a gathering storm held back by brittle glass. Claire's breath hitched, but she moved with quiet purpose, her eyes adjusting quickly to the dim emergency lighting. The sudden blackout was no accident. She was sure of it, but whether it was a malfunction or sabotage remained to be seen. For now, it was an opportunity she could not afford to miss. Dr. Evelyn Marks appeared almost immediately, her poised presence a stark contrast to the growing unease. "Everyone, please remain calm," she announced, voice cutting through the murmur like a scalpel. "Our backup generators will be operational shortly. Security is handling the situation." Claire noted the practiced calm in Evelyn's tone, but the tightness around her eyes betrayed the pressure beneath the surface. She was playing a game as much as Claire was, and in this game, every move mattered. The corridors quickly filled with flickering cell phone lights and the soft shuffle of silk gowns and polished shoes. Claire edged away from the gathering crowd, her steps muffled against the plush carpet. She knew the building well enough now to navigate blindfolded, but tonight she relied on memory and instincts honed by weeks of covert observation. Her destination was the surveillance hubber room, strictly off-limits to patients and most staff. If she could get inside, she might glimpse footage or records that revealed clues about her sister's disappearance. The blackout, chaotic as it was, might just give her the cover she needed. Passing by a group of security guards gathered near the main control panel, Claire feigned a stumble, catching herself against the wall with a casual grace that belied her urgency. The guards barely glanced at her, distracted by the sudden crisis. She slipped past, heart hammering as the low hum of emergency generators thrummed in the background. The hallway grew narrower and colder, the scent of expensive cologne replaced by a faint antiseptic temps. Ahead, the door to the surveillance room stood slightly ajar, surprising oversight given the rehab's usual strict protocols. Claire's pulse quickened. She slipped inside, the door clicking softly behind her. Inside, the room was a command center of monitors and blinking consoles. Walls lined with screens showing feeds from every corner of the facility. Most were dark or flickering due to the power failure, but one monitor displayed a live feed from the East Wing, a wing Claire had scarcely explored. Her eyes scanned the footage, searching for anything unusual. Then, a figure appeared on screen, someone moving quickly, trying to avoid the cameras. Claire's heart leaped. Could it be her sister? Before she could focus, footsteps approached. The door handle rattled, and a voice whispered urgently, "Get out." Claire ducked behind a console just as Lucas, the security chief, entered the room. His eyes narrowed, scanning the dimly lit space. "What are you doing here?" he demanded. Claire forced a calm smile. "I was looking for the restroom. The blackout threw me off." Lucas's gaze lingered, skepticism etched into his features. "Stay out of staff areas," he warned, his voice low but firm. She nodded, stepping back toward the door, her mind racing. The blackout was more than a simple malfunction. It was a crack in the rehab's polished veneer, a chance to uncover truths hidden behind locked doors and silken smiles. Back in the hallway, Claire's fingertips brushed the edge of a large painting. Something about it felt off, a slight gap between the frame and the wall. Her fingers traced the outline, and with a soft click, a hidden panel slid open, revealing a narrow passageway beyond. A rush of adrenaline surged through her veins. This was it, a secret passage that could lead deeper into the rehab's underbelly. The controlled chaos of the blackout had offered her a glimpse behind the curtain, but now the real risk began. Claire paused, listening to the distant shouts and the crackle of radios as staff scrambled to restore order. The luxury rehab was no longer just a sanctuary for the wealthy, it was a labyrinth of secrets, power struggles, and dangerous games. Steeling herself, Claire slipped through the passage, the weight of her mission pressing on her shoulders. Somewhere within these walls was the truth about her sister and, perhaps, the twisted heart of the rehab itself. Outside, the first flickers of restored power began to pierce the darkness. But Claire's path was lit now by something far more potent, desperate determination. As she disappeared into the shadows, the controlled chaos of the night was only just beginning. The night had pulled the rug from beneath the rehab's impeccable order, and Claire was ready to run with it. The interplay of light and shadow played tricks on her senses as she navigated the secret passage. The air thick with a mix of dust and the faint metallic scent that always accompanied hidden, forgotten spaces. Each step echoed softly against cold stone walls, a stark contrast to the plush luxury above. Somewhere ahead, faint mechanical noises hinted at the central systems running this fortress of secrets. Claire's mind raced. Every hidden corner she uncovered might hold the key to her sister's fate. The passage opened into a small chamber filled with racks of equipment and tangled wires, a nerve center of the rehab's surveillance infrastructure. Screens flickered to life as emergency power surged, displaying grainy images from cameras scattered throughout the building. Claire leaned in, scanning the feeds carefully. Faces flashed past, some familiar, others strangers. Then, there on a screen labeled East Wing Room 12, a figure moved cautiously, their silhouette unmistakable. "That has to be her," Claire whispered, breath-catching. But before she could react, footsteps reverberated down the corridor outside. Panic prickled her skin. She ducked behind a console just as the door creaked open. Lucas's presence was intimidating, his eyes sharp and searching. "This area is off limits," he said, voice low but commanding. "I got lost in the dark." Claire lied smoothly, forcing a weary smile. He studied her for a long moment, then nodded curtly. "Stay out of trouble." As the door shut behind him, Claire exhaled slowly. The window was closing fast. Determined, she gathered her courage and explored the room. Behind a stack of monitors, she found a small keypad. Fingers trembling, she entered the code she'd memorized from a stolen document days before. A panel slid open, revealing a narrow stairwell descending further into darkness. The rehab's secrets were buried deep, but Claire was ready to dig them out, no matter the cost. Outside, the blackout waned, lights flickering back on in hesitant waves. Staff moved with urgent efficiency, corralling patients and restoring the facade of calm. Claire emerged from the hidden stairwell, blinking against the harsh fluorescent light. She was in a service corridor, the scent of industrial cleaners, sharp and unfamiliar. Her heart pounded. She was closer now. Somewhere in this maze of corridors and locked doors was the truth she sought. As she pressed forward, she caught a glimpse of Mara slipping into a lounge. Their eyes met Mara's wary gaze held a spark of recognition. Without a word, Mara nodded subtly, an unspoken message passing between them. Claire's pulse quickened. In this place of silk and shadows, alliances could be forged or broken in a heartbeat. The night's controlled chaos had opened a door, and Claire was stepping through it into the unknown. The tension in the rehab was palpable as the blackout faded into memory. Yet beneath the smooth surface, the echoes of the disruption lingered like a whispered threat. Claire sat quietly in the common room, the soft murmur of conversations and the clink of fine china filling the space. Her mind replayed the night's events, each detail a thread in the tangled web she was unraveling. Her sister's presence haunted every shadow, every secret passage she uncovered, and with every step deeper into the rehab's secrets, Claire felt the walls closing in, but she was far from surrender. The controlled chaos had shifted the balance and Claire intended to wield it like a weapon. The game was on, and the stakes had never been higher. "This place will kill me if I'm not careful," she thought, "but I'll kill it first." And with that resolve, Claire prepared for the next move in a deadly dance where trust was a luxury and survival was everything.